Hank remembered Park Row's heyday as Publishers Row, when the competition of free speech took flight as the newspaper industry. Hank pronounced the Brooklyn Bridge's elevated ramp above traffic the best bike and walkway path I've been on in the entire world. I'm afraid of heights, but don't feel the anxiety so much up there. Above traffic, a possible fall doesn't feel so far. People say it's one of the world's greatest bridges, but I say better. A century old and still modern. After pumping up the bridge's long incline, Hank coasted to the middle to stop. He insisted I should rest because I wouldn't know I was worn out till I was worn out. He couldn't help his nervous energy and carefully fit his bike snug to the rail before stepping on the pedal to spread his arms, spanning the humongous island's immense length of intense light. Incredible what we've wrought. So brightly lit may be a waste, but quite a sight. To be able to stand here and feel everything rush underneath, this spot has to be one of life's miracles. I said I never thought that stopped in traffic. Hank smiled. Traffic is a bigger distraction than smelling the roses. Yes, but he wasn't asking and expressed more of his not ordinarily bothered with insight. Of course, the consensus is art is in museums, but our crafts are outside. When I came here to live, I knew this was the big city, but right away though, traveling neighborhood to neighborhood, I felt the size less profoundly, until crossing this bridge. The Brooklyn Bridge showed me this city wasn't just big, but a huge part of the foundation of humankind's great ambitions. Before that night, I'd only come in and out by the tunnels, so my first time up here was at night, dark with no moon, as pitch black as the city gets. A messenger was taking me to his mother's in Brooklyn for tickets to see Stefan Edberg play in the U.S. Tennis Open. But from Park Row looking up, even wearing my glasses, it wasn't like the bridge went all the way to the top of the pylons, up at the top where the metal cables are strung through to hold up the road. I couldn't focus, then wouldn't look. Something about how huge this gentle giant appeared at night disoriented me. I thought the ramp went that high into the sky, and no way was I going up there. My friend laughed because I insisted I wouldn't go, as I've always been afraid of heights. My body goes all soft and squiggly inside, feeling drawn to the edge to fly, knowing I'd just fall. Eventually, my friend's assurances focused my eyes to see the people portion of the bridge wasn't as far up as I'd thought. Still a long way to the river, but this raised middle walkway above traffic doesn't feel so great a fall. A wonderful design, except I might like real bike lanes below and this level just for pedestrianing. Carried by his soundtrack, Hank kept wondering aloud, where are our miracles our ancestors discovered? The last expansive bridge built by Robert Moses, the Verrazano, was only built for cars with no walkway whatsoever, and his extra-long masterpiece, the Triborough, has walkways right beside traffic with a waist-high thin barrier separating you from the mobile thrones speeding by while you're hurried along in perpetual fear. Also, what about our miraculous telephone that officially placed us in modern times? The courts freed rate wars because competition is truly an incentive, but regulations seem to matter more than citizens and are a nuisance for those they're meant to guide. The marketplace is so shrewdly structured, it's less about all of us than companies finding niches to overprice, period. We shrugged shoulders. Hank said the decision-maker competition failed us by branding the logical train unreasonable. The planet saturated roads soaked of harmony. We know accidents between cars and trains are due to neglecting to build bridges or train trestles that should separate the two systems of travel. Watch a news broadcast, Mr. Trainer. Commentators will objectively blame individual drivers for mistaken collisions with trains on their tracks. But bridges were invented a long, long time ago. We basically avoided solving a simple problem that's a problem because we supposedly preferred subsidizing the automotive industry's superior convenience. Trains, a financial burden. Bah! Humbug! No doubt pervasive rail was a calculation nightmare, but we're clearly geniuses at not giving a damn. Hank grinned and said, "Disagree? You're a lawyer, aren't you? Attack the bike messenger's credentials." I decided non-certification was an unnecessary point for the moment and said, "Hank, consider yourself depressing. I was happy exercising dormant joints while your cynicism has worn out my debating expertise. Look at you standing there, framed in the bright city lights. Proud of yourself, huh? Picking out what society didn't get right?" "Right," Hank said, hopping on his bike. "No victory there. More worlds to conquer. Let's sail." So we went carefully back down the bridge to Manhattan because daredevils create accidents on bridges, and Hank had friends hurt. He rode slow on his brakes and spoke when we stopped in the median at Center Street next to Manhattan Borough Hall. Hank said, "Considering my belief in the bike's importance, it's still hard to encourage anyone to ride. The problem is it's impossible without experience to prepare for everything that can happen. It's incredible what surviving a fall prepares you for, and not something I'm comfortable advocating. The problem is modern life is too fast for all of us to be ready for anything. Why? Why do so many collide every day? And people are always sorry after their careless excess creates an accident. Can you really not mean to be irresponsible?" Unfortunately, cycling comrades prove as aggressively reckless as everyone else. So then from the bridge's exit, instead of taking center north from Borough Hall through the Foley Square courthouses that replaced the pseudo-criminal swamp 5 Points, we hooked south, briefly touching Publishers Row, then east on Dover for 2 blocks parallel to the bridge, toward the East River, where we took the next turn north on Water Street. That under the Brooklyn Bridge becomes St. James Place for a couple blocks to where the Bowery starts at Chatham Square, where we turned east again on Oliver to find Cherry Street, a block from the East River, where Hank finally spoke while crescently passing in front of a car exiting the grocery store's parking lot. And said, "We're finding 406 Cherry Street, and I always go around cars no matter what. A lot of people yell, 'Watch out for me,' but I prefer preparation. My instinct is to make sure I'm ready even if that car jumps forward at me. I can tell you how many car doors just grazed my leg since I ran into a couple. I feel safer ready for what people might do rather than depend on what yelling can produce." I said, "Okay, Hank,